When I got into high school, middle school, and stuff like that, I became active in student government, beta clubs, National Honor Society, Key Club, anything and everything our school had. I did. I played soccer. I used to play basketball. I'd picked up golf, stuff like that, and excelled in those. And that was like all before my accident.
21-year-old Clay Ahart was like any typical high school senior until an unimaginable accident in November of 2010 changed his life forever.
I was supposed to, because I was president of Beta Club, I was supposed to lead a meeting at lunch that day, and this happened right before lunch. Somehow we decided to play a trust fall game, and so when I fell backwards, they missed, and it hit my brain and spinal cord on concrete, and it left me with no movement from the neck down. And so, I remember the EMS coming in and being like, "Hey, can you feel this?" And I was like, "Who are you?" Because at that point, I lost all my memory as well. I didn't know who I was, where I was, what year it was, who my friends were, what was going on, anything like that.
A simple trust fall, a common exercise where one person falls back into the arms of another, trusting they will be caught before they hit the ground, left Clay paralyzed, unable to feel anything from the neck down. It was unclear to his doctor whether Clay's body would shut back on, as he puts it, but at the time, it seemed that Clay would most likely never walk again and would have to learn to live life in a whole new way. But then again, things aren't always what they seem.
In the hospital, I basically got movement back. One night in my left arm, I could just move my left arm about 4 inches, and that was pretty miraculous in and of itself, but that's all I can move at that point.
The simple movement of his arm gave hope, but also marked the start of a long, hard journey. Clay began extensive physical therapy to try and regain the movement and strength he once had. Physical challenges weren't the only things standing in his way. He had to completely relearn how to do what most consider simple daily tasks, such as tying his shoes and brushing his teeth, and re-meeting his friends and family.
My friends had made like scrapbooks and things like that, to kind of help me remember them. And I was like always really good with scent. So they'd bring in like a cotton ball of perfume, and I'd be like, "That belongs to Jordan." And I would be like, "Whoa." And then they'd bring in a group of people and be like, "All right, pick out who Jordan is." So they kind of worked with me on getting my memory back and stuff like that.
Through all the hurdles, pain, and frustration, Clay admits there were times he didn't have the motivation to push forward, times where exhaustion took over and he just wanted to find the easy way out. The persistence of those around him gave him the push to keep going.
It was really my physical therapist from Sky Rehab, Gina and Susan, who pushed me. They're like, "Clay, if you want to walk in, that's up to you." They're like, "We can push you, we can give you the exercises, but it's up to you."
For 2.5 years, Clay continued to push past the boundaries many expected him never to reach.
When I was walking on my loft sharing crutches, I was able to walk my mom down the aisle at my sister's wedding. I was like, I made it this far. I made it to a single tip cane. I made it, being able to walk 25 feet without any walking assisted device or anything like that. I was like, I made it this far. How much farther can I go? When I was able to walk without anything, I was like, I made it this far, so let's run. So I remember the first day I ran, and you can't even like imagine what it's like to be able to go from not moving any legs at all to being able to run.
Enduring great pain and a long recovery that still continues is Clay's reality, all brought about by an exercise in trust gone wrong, but a reality he says he wouldn't challenge.
A lot of people have asked me that. They're like, if you could go back and change it, would you? And I would have to say no. Even though it's been a lot of stress and really hard on different people and been hard on me, the things that have come out of it have been incredible.
For News 91.7, I'm Samira Assad.